it's time that we stop just surviving and we actually live and enjoy life. I know it's taboo in our communities, but I'm telling you right now, therapy helps. It's someone to talk to if you don't have anybody. It's someone that's not going to judge you. Now, I'm not telling you jump on a whole bunch of meds and do all this, and I'm not saying to all of a sudden become a victim. I've seen 3 therapists in my life, and to be honest, I did a lot of research in the past week or two looking for a new one. I haven't been to therapy in a while. And training helps, coaching helps, all that stuff helps empty the cup. But I'm still recognizing that in some ways I'm still surviving. I'm not truly living and thriving. And I think it's important for me in this next chapter to do so. So I encourage all of you to do it as well.
Shit, I'm about to go wait in this place when you dropping the bass in. The beat is at the streets of awaken. I'm making to break my foot off of somebody's ass. I'm waiting for someone to say my name so I can annihilate them. Okay, then everyone was screaming the rape when I was kicking at the gate till it caved in, barely scraping by. But now I'm paid. Look at the paper I break and I'm caking like Jay-Z and Drake. And I hate when people say that I ain't killing shit. The game is my playpen. I punch you in the face and end up breaking your break bands. I'm far from Hollywood. I'm posted up at the days in. Even though the industry say I'm the latest sensation. Drop the song at the board show. Becoming complacent. Mama saw me on TV with just a bum in the basement. You a Captain Saber who you just
What up, everybody? Welcome to You Control You podcast. Your boy, Mark Shaw Evans. What am I grateful for? As always, I'm grateful for God. I'm grateful for family. I'm grateful for life overall. Friends, family, everything that I have. This weekend was a pretty good weekend. Got a lot of things done. I'm grateful for my fighters. They are putting in a lot of work right now and going through it. And so I'm very appreciative of them, very grateful for them. I'm really grateful for patience because it's a weird thing to say, but getting this new gym has taught me a lot of patience. A lot of things that we're going through that are interesting thus far. And so it's crazy, but I'm looking forward to us getting in there full time and running the show and doing what we got to do. So I'm very grateful for all of that. I'm grateful for all of you who continue to join us on this voyage of being introspective and just talking about a lot of different things. And we have some dope interviews coming up. If you get a chance, make sure you like, subscribe, follow. We just premiered the podcast with the moms, with my ex-wife and and my daughter's mother. So that was kind of cool. The love we've been getting on that one has been dope. So yeah. Today's topic, men don't talk about their pain. Here's why that's dangerous. So I was listening to The Pivot. It's one of my favorite podcasts. I would advise everybody to go check out The Pivot. It's a dope podcast. Ryan Clark, Channing Crowder. Did I say Ryan Clark already?
Yep.
Ryan Clark, Channing Crowder, Fred Taylor. Great football players, people that I enjoy watching. Especially Fred Taylor. I was a big fan of Fred Taylor and Ryan Clark smacking people all the time. That was fun. I love listening to Channing Crowder. He's just fun. Should definitely have him on the podcast. 2 light-skinned brothers that just say too much sometimes. So, but they were talking about suicide. And I learned something. I didn't realize certain things about that, and especially in the Black and brown community. And so it kind of hit me hard, right? Because I have 2 children. And so it made me think about things. And actually 3 children when I think about my son-in-law. Like, so it really made me think about things differently. I think we're going to play this clip twice today. I'm just going to roll it now and kind of get it going. Corey, if you don't mind.
Where's the level of resiliency that gets you to understand that that's a blessing and to handle it, right? And that's the way I see it. But you don't know what these people, individuals are dealing with internally. And so that's why I'm talking about just how do we teach them that there's another option, that there is something on the other side? How do we tell them, hey, if you're feeling this, we are here for you to tell you this is the next step. And the biggest thing I want to add before we move on is that this isn't just a football player problem, right? The suicide rates are rising in every demographic. In the demographic of Black men, the most in this country. So it's not just about playing the sport. It's just the pressures of life. And sometimes they get to be too big for anybody.
So around 80% of the suicide deaths in the United States are men. Men die by suicide about 4 times more than other women. Suicide is one of the leading causes of death for men under 50 in the United States. And this is where it gets scary. As for us that have kids that are Black and brown, suicide rates among Black Americans increased about 53% between 2007 and 2020. Suicide among Black youth increased roughly 36% between 2018 and 2021. Historically, suicide rates in the Black communities were lower. The concern now is how quickly they are rising, especially amongst our young men. So when Ryan Clark said that, I had to, go to work. I had to do some research, and to start to when you start seeing these numbers, it's really alarming, right? Why is it happening? He talked about it on that. He was like, what can we teach these young men? What can we do for these young men? Right? And I say it all the time that when men are going through it, we are the most destructive creatures on this earth. We have the means to create so much violence, and to watch and see now that we're creating that violence with ourselves. And I mean, I've been there and I've talked about it, like sitting in the parking lot of my gym and holding that loaded gun to my head. And sometimes I ask these weird questions. Is this heaven or hell that I'm living in right now? Did I actually do that to myself? Did I really make that happen? It's a weird way of thinking, but I understand being at that point of life where you don't see any other option, where you just feel trapped and you feel stuck and you feel like there's nowhere else to turn, and you no longer love yourself and you no longer look at yourself in the way that you should, and you forget that it's not even truly just your life. It's a life, your soul doesn't belong to you, right? Your soul belongs to the higher being. And you forget all that. And you see like this is the only way out. And that's so scary. When it gets to that point where you think this is the only way out to find relief from what you're going through. Like, I think Ryan Clark used the best word possible, resilience. How can we teach these young men to be more resilient? to learn that you have to overcome these things. Now, I understand the other epidemic going on in our Black and brown communities, and it can't be a coincidence. We have a lot of broken homes. We have a lot of single mothers. And I don't want to get into a debate why. The point is that we have a lot of young men that aren't learning how to process their emotions and their feelings, or even how to deal with anything from other men. And on top of that, one of the things that we've always done in the Black and brown communities is what? Toughen up. Pray on it. You don't need to talk to anybody. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to go anywhere. Are they hating on me right now? Is that?
No one says you're back.
What was it, a connection issue or word or verbiage? Okay. Because I am worried about the topic and seeing how much social media is going to dislike me for that. But some of the things that I know I grew up hearing, right, from coaches: don't cry, man up, handle your business, stop complaining. And the messages in themselves are good tools to have in our life. Don't just lay around feeling sorry for yourself. Don't just be a victim. However, if no one else, if they're not learning anything at home, right? If they don't have a man leading them at home, then these emotions get buried, or you don't learn how to cope with them properly. You don't learn how to deal with them. And we bury them instead of truly understanding them. And then you learn how to perform and be strong instead of processing the pain and truly using this pain, right? And then it gets to be too much. It only works for a little while. And then I always describe it as like your cup gets full, right? So imagine you have this cup and life just keeps pouring into it, right? And as life is pouring into it, if you don't learn how to process any of it and remove it from the cup, eventually it's going to be overflowing and you won't know what to do with that. And the only option that you see is like calling it a day. Like, once again, the suicide rates among Black Americans have increased by 53%. Like, that's a scary number, yo. 53%. And in the youth, it's increased by 36%. This is an epidemic that maybe we should be a little more focused on and trying to repair. And I say maybe, and I mean that like in a sarcastic manner. We should definitely be figuring out what we should be doing. Lack of awareness, lack of understanding, lack of resources, right? And that it doesn't mean that they aren't there, but like if we're not encouraging people to find someone to talk to, right, then what are we doing? And I'm all good with talking to your pastors or the people at church. I'm all good with that. As long as they're having a fluid conversation with these young men. Because I know when I was a teenager or when I was going through it, if someone would have just said, well, just turn to God. It's like, well, yeah, I hear you. I need to communicate with someone though. And I want to talk to somebody about what I'm going through. You know what that just hit me with, Corey? This is, man, I always go here. Anakin going to talk to Yoda about his visions. In the episode 3.
Yeah.
And the only thing that Yoda really tells him is he needs to learn the art of detachment.
Yeah.
He didn't bother to gain any more knowledge, to have a conversation with this young man. He didn't do anything. He just listened, asked who it was, and said, well, this is what you got to do. And it came from a place of wisdom, a very old wisdom, but there was no connection. So now if we just sit there and we have a conversation with these young men who, a lot of them, let's be honest, don't have men in their lives on a full-time basis, right? Or even a half-time basis, right? Now they're talking to someone and they're saying, just open your Bible and read a verse. Read Proverbs. Listen for God. 1 out of 4, maybe 1 out of 5, I can see that working.
I would say probably 1 out of 10.
There you go, 1 out of 10. Yeah.
It's so far more disconnected from religion than any previous generation.
And so if it's 1 out of 10, that's scary. That means 9 of those kids are no longer going to be here.
No.
That's a scary thought. And let's see, what did Garrett say? He said exactly, being open with your emotions don't make you less masculine or less of a man. No, they don't. It's you start to lose that masculine energy when you allow your emotions to dictate how you're moving in life on a consistent basis. And I say consistent because it's not like we're all perfect. I understand the monster that lives within me. And so it's recognizing that talking about it and being open about your feelings doesn't make you weak as long as it's not stopping you from moving forward. Right? And these young men are lost. Like, I know I probably, when I first say that, oh, he's just an old head, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Every generation, I believe, is, they always say, oh, this younger generation, they're not doing this. I literally mean it. They're lost. The fact that suicide rates are climbing that high, this is a major issue going on.
I looked up that statement that I made about generation not identifying with a particular religion. And so the Survey Center for American Life says that at least from the Gen Z group, that roughly 36 to 52% identify with a specific religion, meaning 34 to 48% are religiously unaffiliated.
Yeah. I wish I could say, I wish I can sit here and tell some young man that God is the answer and he fully understand me. Because I truly believe it was God who really intervened so I wouldn't blow my brains out. Because if I don't have those images of my children, right, I'm not here. They had to come from somewhere. At that moment, they came. Like, I wasn't taught how to explain what I'm feeling. It's something I had to learn. It's no one teaches you how to say, hey, I'm feeling overwhelmed right now. I'm feeling depressed right now. I feel scared now. I feel nervous. I feel lost. I feel unsure. I feel weak. Instead, all the emotions just come out as anger and isolation and work obsession or substance abuse. Like, damn it. I got emotional when I was putting this together. Because that's how I cope. I don't really turn to anger too often, but I definitely isolate. I definitely go into more of a work mode. And my substance was sex. It's nothing I'm proud of, but like, and I feel for these young men because nobody is telling them to how to express it. And there's not a man in the house telling them what the straight line is. Like, Corey, could you do me a huge favor? I didn't even think about doing this before. Could you see if there's a statistic out there for Black men, if a lot of them come from single mother households? And I'm not blaming the moms. I want to see if there's a correlation between these young men not having men lead them, and it's leading to them not being able to properly talk about their emotions.
As of 2023, nearly half, 49.7% of all Black children in the U.S. lived in a single parent household. So that doesn't mean that it's always been like that, but at least have lived in a single parent household. That percentage is 49.7 as of 2023.
So 50% of our young Black youth are living without their fathers. Can you tell me, how does that correlate to the suicide rate? I wonder if there's a statistic that talks about that. Because if you're saying 50% of young Black men don't have fathers or at one time didn't have a male figure in the household, and then the suicide rate has jumped up 36% in amongst the youth, one would surmise that it's somewhat connected.
Yes. So I'm trying to just kind of back up what the AI is giving me with one of these other more reputable websites. So just give me probably like 60 seconds.
No, that's all good. So like, I know, and I talk about this often, like I've learned more from my son, teaching my son how to communicate through things and talk about things. Like, suppressed emotions, they don't disappear. They show up in so many different ways, and I've already mentioned that. Like, psychologists talk about how often describe suicide as pain combined with isolation and hopelessness. Like, when someone feels alone long enough, the brain begins to tell lies. I'm a burden. Nobody cares. Things will never change. Those thoughts feel real in the moment, even though they are often temporary. And I'm not saying that it doesn't matter what we're going through. I'm not saying that we all don't go through that. At different times, we probably all feel that. What I'm saying is that if there's nobody around, if there's no male figure around to teach that person how to persevere, how to be resilient, how to keep pushing forward, or and nobody there to communicate with, like, that's tough. I'm 45 and I still wish I had like my dad around to call. Like, just to say, yo, I'm stressed and I'm feeling lost right now.
So I do have a number for you. And then I'm actually on a different page. That's the Suicide Prevention Resource Center.
Okay.
It goes into some other interesting things. But for what you asked, says 64% of Black children that grew up in single parent homes have committed suicide.
Is that just all children or
Black children?
Black children.
Yes.
Oh man, I really don't want to go down the conspiracy lane, but let's think about this. Let me go on some real evil villain shit right now. We can all connect. We all know that there was an agenda pushed to create single mother households, right? I think at least you and I can agree on that, right? It was an active agenda to make that happen. Well, if almost 50% of our young Black kids have at one point lived in a single woman led household, right? Basically just living with the mom. So you got 50%. So 50% of Black children are growing up without their father or without a man in the house at some point in their life. Okay. Out of that 50%, almost you said 63%?
64%.
Or I guess, are we saying 64% of that 36? I don't even know.
So we said it was about half. It's about 50% that were in single family households.
So then more than half of those kids are killing themselves. Yes. So 63% of that 50%. Right? So let's just give clear numbers here. I'm going to be way off on these numbers, but follow me. If we say we have 10 Black children, right? We're going to say 5 of them are growing up without a father in the household, without a male figure in the household at some point in their life. Out of those 5, we're going to say at least 3 out of that 5 are calling it a day. Now let's add in other things, right? Let's add in the economic pressures, right? Because single family household, mom's probably struggling. She's probably working. I'm not gonna down anybody. Let's say she's working, she's grinding, right? Still only a single household, single led household. Exposure to violence. We all know that, like, they're seeing a lot of things they shouldn't be seeing. The generational survival culture. Like, you're taught to survive, but not truly live. You don't need to talk about your emotions. Just keep pushing forward. Just keep getting through it. In many households, mental health conversations are rare. People were taught to push through pain rather than examine it. So what you have going on is you have young men that don't have any strong male figures in their life, in their home, right? Let's say they play sports. They'll have some coaches, right? But they don't have it at home, where it's the most important.
I would argue the coach interaction has been watered down. I don't think the coaches that we encountered that were, one, probably a little bit more stern, and in some cases more involved in some of your day-to-day.
Yep.
It's just not like that because of the expansion of sports, sports leagues, and it being year-round.
Not until you could probably get to the college level.
Yeah. And so many times, I mean, a lot of the coaches, no disrespect to some of the coaches, are just there just to make sure things are running. They've been asked to volunteer. They're probably already stretched with their time or the other things they're doing, but they want to do something for their son that may be playing or whatever, and is there to fill in, but is not necessarily there to see how everybody is doing, what's going on at your home life, how you're performing in school. Are there other issues going on? Do we need to take time and talk?
Yeah. This is kind of sad. And it like, I feel it so much because I know because I've been there and I was so close to doing it that I know exactly that feeling of feeling alone, feeling like you ain't worth a damn, feeling like everybody's against you. And what am I still here for? Like, screw it. This will make everybody's life better. And like, money isn't the thing, because like when they were talking about it on the pivot, and I'll have Corey play that clip again. Like, he's talking about young men that are playing in the league. Like, money doesn't fix the problem. It's crazy to me. Like, and they, again, man, like I said, I know what it feels like. I don't have those thoughts, but I definitely feel the effect of not having a father to go talk to, right? And that's kind of the crappy aspect of it. And like, it's why I'm so focused on being there for my son and letting him know he's loved, and like giving him these words of encouragement, and like, because I'm thinking about one day I'm not going to be here, and I need my voice to ring out in his ear or in his head. I need him to hear me constantly. Like Mufasa, Simba type joint. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, can we play the Ryan Clark clip again?
Where's the level of resiliency that gets you to understand that that's a blessing and to handle it, right? And that's the way I see it. But you don't know what these individuals are dealing with internally. And so that's why I'm talking about, just how do we teach them that there's another option, that there is something on the other side? How do we tell them, hey, if you're feeling this, we are here for you to tell you this is the next step? And the biggest thing I want to add before we move on is that this isn't just a football player problem, right? The suicide rates are rising in every demographic. In the demographic of Black men, the most in this country. So it's not just about playing the sport. It's just the pressures of life, and sometimes they get to be too big for anybody.
We have to figure, as men, Like I'm not a woman, right? And so I'm not going to talk about that aspect, right? As men, white, black, brown, peach, green, turquoise, I don't care what color you are. As men, we have to do better. We have to encourage and we have to be there to speak to the next generation. Like mentoring, coaching, just being a dad. Just be a fucking father. Once again, let me just break this stat down for you guys. 50% of our youth are either going through it right now or have lived in a single parent household. 63% of those young people, young men, are committing suicide. That's a staggering number. That's sad. We have to enter these young men's life and teach them how to properly express themselves. And I'm not saying like we express ourselves differently than women do. We should be able to speak amongst men, amongst young men, and allow them to be open and transparent and listen to them and guide them and coach them through this and show them that they're not all alone. And two, that you can overcome this. This is how. Introduce the word of God. Introduce whatever you believe is going to work long term, but we must listen. We must teach them to express themselves. I'm feeling frustrated, yo. Why do you feel frustrated? I don't know. I just feel frustrated. Okay. If you did know, what would it be? I don't know. Okay. How's school going? How's home life? What are you doing outside of that? Like, we can ask these questions and be there to listen. And when they try to brush us off, no, come here, young man. Hey, I get it. I've been there. The young men that I mentor, I'm open with them. Like, look, it's not my position to judge you. I can't judge you. That's not my job in this world, right? This is what I've lived. This is what I've done. This is what I've been through. I'm here if you want to talk. And I share with them so they know. Because in order for someone to truly be vulnerable with you at that level, and you have to open up. It gets really scary when you think about all these numbers. Let me hit y'all with something. Real strength is not pretending everything is fine. Real strength is confronting what's happening inside your mind. A warrior doesn't ignore their wounds. A warrior treats them. Pain ignored becomes infection. Pain addressed becomes healing. This last Saturday, I was talking with the person who's helping me write my book, who's using his great pen to tell my story. And we talked about how a lot of people that I know run away from pain. They don't want to figure out why it hurts, what's going on. But I dive right in. I want to know why this hurts. And that's what made me think about the infection part. We have to clean the wound. We have to get in there, remove the debris. We have to clean it up. We have to do all these things so it can heal properly, so it can scar properly. It's still a scar, but we have to get to that point. Like, you're not alone. That's the biggest thing that we have to show our brothers, that they're not alone. You don't have to fight this battle alone. Let me carry some of it. Share it. Let me help you. I can't fix the problem for you necessarily, but let me shoulder some of this damn weight. Like, that weight gets too heavy. It's not your job to carry it all. Anybody that you look up to has fought these battles. A lot of times the difference is, like, they found someone to reach out to. They found someone to talk to. They found someone to vent to. It could be just like your team. It could be your best friends. It could be your cousins. It could be your uncles. It could be anybody. Sometimes you just need to get that shit off your chest so you can empty the cup and then be reminded and ask, like, what are you grateful for? Like, I don't think we do enough of that. We don't acknowledge what we're truly grateful for. It's so easy for us to focus on the negative bullshit. Death is it, yo. It's my daughter wouldn't be running her business if I would have taken my life. When my son wouldn't be the amazing young man he is. And it would have been the most selfish thing that I could have done. Because I would have been free from all my burdens. And instead, I would have left it with them. We have to, as older men, we have to help the next generation. We have to teach them that you can carry that weight, but you don't have to carry it alone. You can overcome this, but you don't have to do it alone. Nobody has ever climbed a mountaintop in their life on their own. Somebody helped in some way. Before I get offline, I just want to make it known. The Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is 988. Available 24 hours a day by call or text. I'll say that again. For anybody in the United States listening, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is 988, and it's 24/7. It's time that we stop just surviving and we actually live and enjoy life. I know it's still taboo in our communities, but I'm telling you right now, therapy helps. It's someone to talk to if you don't have anybody. It's someone that's not going to judge you. Now, I'm not telling you jump on a whole bunch of meds and do all this, and I'm not saying to all of a sudden become a victim. I've seen 3 therapists in my life, and to be honest, I did a lot of research in the past week or two looking for a new one. I haven't been to therapy in a while. And training helps, coaching helps, all that stuff helps empty the cup. But I'm still recognizing that in some ways I'm still surviving. I'm not truly living and thriving. And I think it's important for me in this next chapter to do so. So I encourage all of you to do it as well. Whether it's online, whether it's in person. And I believe that we need to have more of these open conversations amongst each other, especially as men. Because the suicide rate overall just for men is high. It's ridiculously high. Be there for each other. Hold each other down. And when you feel like you're starting to just curl up and be alone, that's okay for a little bit. But just check in with your brothers. Check in with your people. That matters. And check in with other people. See how they're doing. Thank y'all for joining me today. It's a tough topic to talk about. I think it's one that we really, as people, we should confront and constantly talk about. And so, man, thank y'all again, man. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe. Shout out Celsius. Although it's really hard for me to go to a lighter note, but I see the Pivot has their own energy drink now. I might have to check that out. But in the meantime, I do love Celsius. Shout out Fresh Fin. Shout out the Wolfpack Combat Academy. Madison Tattoo Removal. I appreciate all the love and support. And remember, folks, man, you control you. Reach out to those people. Whether you're going through it or you just need to check in and see how someone else is doing. Be kind to each other out there. You control you. We out. Peace.
Shit, I'm about to go wait in this place when you dropping the bass in. The beat is at the streets of awaken. I'm making to break my foot off of somebody's ass. I'm waiting for someone to say my name so I can annihilate them. Okay, then everyone was screaming the rape when I was kicking at the gate till it caved in. Belly scraping by, but now I'm paid. Look at the paper I raped and I'm caking like Jay-Z and Drake. And I hate when people say that I ain't killing shit. The game is my playpen. I punch you in the face and end up breaking your break bands. I'm far from Hollywood. I'm posted up with the days in. Even though the industry say I'm the latest sensation. Drop the stuff at the board show. Becoming complacent. Mama saw me on TV with just a bum in the basement. You would catch me save a whole cake. I fuck your baby mama in